Carlton, how are you doing, brother?
I'm alright, bro. Hope you're all good.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
And I appreciate you for your time. You came all the way from Arusha to here just to shoot.
Exactly. I mean, that's how I appreciate you guys, what you're doing and all that. And this industry needs to really grow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you started just after we started, right? How many years have you been doing it?
Like seriously,
Yeah.
I'd say 1 year and a half. But
Okay.
Like, just started it like releasing episodes. I'd say 2 years now. Since I remember it was when I finished my undergrad, that was 2021, I think.
Okay.
That's when we started, and it was purely audio.
Yeah.
Then when I decided to be serious with it, that's when we started the videos. So yeah, like 2 years. and
Okay.
counting.
You know, the first time I found out about Tips podcast was the time that you did with that Rasta guy. What's his name?
Oh, Sindano.
Yeah, Sindano show. That was a
Yeah.
very, very good episode. And I also saw another episode you did with Munyagi.
Yeah.
That
That's the most
was
recent one.
very, very eye-opening, man. I really like
Thank you,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So, do you like tips, or what's the long form of tips?
The long form of tips is the Insightful Podcast Show. That's the
Okay.
long form of tips. But honestly, I wanted the name to be Tips. So it was Tips, then I decided to find words to fill in there. So yeah, the name was just Tips. That's how it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what motivated you to start tips?
Motivation honestly was boredom, man. As I said, I started almost when I was done with uni, and I had
Okay.
like 3 months of nothing specific to do.
Yeah.
I didn't want to just be idle, man. And I felt like it would be nice to start a podcast. But like deep down, the reason that I went to this specific niche is the
Yeah.
fact that I think most people choose careers not based on them having interest in those careers.
Okay.
But it's based on, let's say, they saw their uncle getting respect because they're a doctor or things
Yeah.
like that. And you want to become a doctor because you saw your uncle being respected.
Yeah.
Then you reach in university, that's when you realize that it's not something that you truly want to do, you know?
Okay.
So that was the reason that I started trying to give as much career information to people as possible, man.
Okay.
But along the way, the audience that I got
Yeah.
and the growth that I was personally going through,
Yeah.
the vision somehow changed
Okay.
and went to trying to educate young people who are starting their career journeys or
Yeah.
still finding their way in their career journeys. So
Okay.
that's how it started. But motivation is boredom.
Oh, so yeah, I remember. I think even us, we
Yeah.
started it out of boredom. I need to ask Monty because Monty was the one who came with the idea of,
Yeah.
of podcasting. I don't know how bored he was, or I don't know what he saw, but yeah,
From your side, it was boredom.
yeah. But according to his words,
Mhm.
Monty said that he wanted to inspire a lot of people. That's why. But I think that came from boredom as well.
Yeah.
So I love inspiring people. I love sharing value with people, you know, because I believe that through reading, through learning every day, through meeting people, I have some knowledges that I gain every single day, and I don't like staying with them, you know, because I hate gatekeeping information from people. So
True.
I was like, okay, all these knowledges that I'm learning from books, from people, from connections, why don't I share them with others? You know, sharing is caring, they say, yeah. So
And when you share, that's when you actually get to understand more what you shared.
yeah,
That makes sense.
exactly. So
Yeah.
so right now here we are. And as I said, when you started, you didn't have a niche, or you had a niche.
I had the niche. That's why I said like I wanted to do a podcast, but specifically,
Yeah.
it's just because before I always thought that people choose careers because they've heard it, that this is the best thing you could do. Becoming an engineer must be really nice.
Yeah.
You'll be respected. Everyone will listen to you. So that was the niche that we decided to be into. But it changed over time
Yeah.
because of the audience that I got and the growth that I went to personally.
So as I saw in the beginning, did you have a co-host?
Yeah, we had a co-host, Salim.
Oh, okay. What happened?
What happened is that obviously this is not like the main thing that both of us do.
Okay.
We have other things that we do.
Yeah.
So other responsibilities that he had. He lives in Morogoro, I live in Arusha.
Okay.
So we usually used to meet in Dar es Salaam. That's where we get most of our guests from.
Okay.
So sometimes when I come to Dar,
Yeah.
he's occupied with other responsibilities, so he can't
Okay.
make it. But he's still around. when we have a guest and he's around, they'll literally see him.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why did you choose Salim as your co-host?
You know, honestly, there wasn't like a specific reason.
Yeah.
We were almost in the same city while we were in uni, and
Okay.
he's one of my close friends,
Okay.
and he's one of the people that when we sit together outside the camera and all that,
Yeah.
we have a lot of different conversations,
Okay.
you know, and that was the reason that I chose Salim. He was like, yo, why don't you just do it? And he was like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, and do you feel like you have the same visions, or he was just at the right place at the right time?
As in same visions in what perspective?
In like the podcasting industry, do you share the same interest?
No, this was purely my interest.
Okay.
So he just tagged along. Support kama mshikaji wake. That
Oh,
was it.
oh.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he has supported a lot, not just being there,
Yeah.
sometimes even financially. So would say he's been a really good co-host to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's very, very difficult to find a co-host. I remember
Yeah,
when we were doing this podcast with Monty. You know, Monty lives in the UK,
exactly.
so very few times he's in Tanzania. So I thought, I was like, okay, how can I get a co-host? Then I was like, nah, man, I'll just be doing it myself.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think getting a co-host is more like having someone who can ask questions that you might not be able to ask when you have a guest.
Oh, yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you choose a really bad co-host, you might have so good questions, but the co-host
Yeah.
asks shallow questions, and maybe the podcast not gonna be as big as how you perceived it to be. So I feel like it's really crucial.
Yeah, and I find it very hard working with people, and I think I'm not alone, because previously we had an episode with a guy named Jax. He's a crypto trader. I asked him a question like, you're making all this kind of money per month, because he told us he has about 2,000 people in his subscription,
Okay.
and who pays $10 a month. That's like $20,000
Yeah.
just on the subscription. So I was like, okay, if you make that much amount, do you even have a team? And he was like, no, I don't have a team. I'm only myself. I shoot myself, I edit myself, I do everything myself. I don't want to work with anyone, because people will let you down. So what do you think about having a team? What's the importance of having a team?
You know, that's one perspective, and that's one way to see it. But
Yeah.
if you think on the other side, assume that you do everything alone.
Okay.
I don't think you might grow into the next stage, if that makes sense, because
Okay.
all you do is maintain the current status quo. you know?
Okay.
All you do is record the podcast. You think about finding guests.
Yeah.
You think about creating creating the questions that you be asking the guest.
Yeah.
Thinking about editing, shooting, directing.
Yeah.
How would you think about monetizing at that point? That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah. So I feel like, obviously, yes, that's true, man. Like, if you don't get the right people,
Yeah.
you wouldn't grow eventually, even if you have a big team
big
behind
team.
you, But yeah, I feel like it's just finding the right people and putting effort and time onto finding the people.
Okay.
Yeah.
As of right now, how many people are behind Tips Podcast?
Bro, okay. If you put Salim, you're only two.
Okay.
But sometimes while I shoot,
Yeah.
when I have cousins in Dar es Salaam, and I have friends as well. So if they're free, I usually ask them to be the people behind the camera directing. But it's usually really hard because I'm still teaching them how to do it. So it's usually really challenging. But at the moment, there's no team behind it. But I want to change that for sure.
Yeah.
It's just that the budget is not allowing for me to create a team behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I remember when me and Monty started, first of all, we didn't have any guest, because
Yeah.
nobody wanted to come to our podcast.
Like, where would I? Who are you?
Yeah, and we had 0 followers,
Yeah.
and we were shit, bro. We didn't have lights, the AC was not working.
Exactly.
It was very hot inside there, and we were recording using our phones. So I remember I used to stand up and go and switch on the camera, then come here, sit down, and then talk.
Yeah.
Sometimes the camera would be off, and
And
we
you
just be
don't even
talking.
notice it.
You don't even
Facts.
know, man.
I mean, that's still me today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still me today. I have to go turn on the camera, turn it off, and all that. And I honestly think
Yeah.
it's a good thing. Imagine if you had good guests
Mm.
with that shitty quality of videos. Would
Yeah.
you loved it to see it right now?
Nah, bro.
Exactly. I feel like it was good that you started that way.
Yeah. It's crazy. That's why I always tell people, like, you have to start where you are with what you have. You don't have to wait until you have people or you have a very big team to start.
Don't make excuses.
Yeah, so you just have to keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.